Hi, I'm Jeff, and I'm a therapist.
And I'm Tyler, and I'm a patient.
We're going to talk about trauma, healing, and everything. Everything is traumatic.
Hello. Welcome to the show, the greatest show that we ever shot. It's the show that you forgot. It's Everything is Traumatic.
Nice.
I'm Tyler.
Did you just make that up?
Yeah. I just started going with it.
That's awesome. And I'm Jeff.
Oh. Uh-oh. I got Ken calling in already.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he know we were doing this?
I don't think so. I mean, I feel like, should I answer it?
I don't know. It's been a while since we've talked to Ken.
I'm merging the calls.
All right.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey. Long time no talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's been busy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What have you guys been into?
I mean, not a whole lot, honestly. I mean,
What's the episode about?
Family.
Family
is traumatic.
Family. Yeah, that is very traumatic. One of the most traumatic things that have ever happened to me
is family.
Family is good, family gives, and family takes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Depending on what kind of family you have, one of those is more than the others.
Yes, definitely. Well, Tyler and I talked yesterday a little bit about Freud, and we are recording this on Mother's Day, although that doesn't matter when you listen to it. So we thought we were talking about mothers and the difference between mothers and mothers. And then it sort of evolved into Freudian stages. And then this morning we decided, let's just do family.
That's like a broader, it's a broader thing. Because, I mean, this isn't going to come out on Mother's Day. We're just recording it on Mother's Day. So, yeah. Makes a lot more sense to do it that way. Just talk about family. Because this will probably come out, I don't know.
Christmas time?
Huh?
Around Christmas time?
Yeah, it'll come out around Christmas time, I'm pretty sure.
Which is one of the most stressful times with family.
It's Christmas time, yeah.
Especially if you're in charge of children, it definitely is.
Oh yeah. I wasn't even thinking of children. Yeah, that adds a whole nother complication. I was thinking of like parents.
When you have the parents too, though, and the family, but then you're also in charge of children. That's kind of like where I'm at, where it's like you have to balance going to your families and dealing with all of them, but also making your kids, like doing all the things for the kids for the Christmas. Like you have to hit those milestones. You have to get a tree. You got to do the things. You got to, I don't know, do activities, Christmas activities, put up decorations. It's like a whole new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like before, I didn't care.
But now you
I'm
have
exhausted just from hearing the list of things that you have to do when you have children.
Oh, that was holidays. Yeah, it's insane, and that's only the tip of the iceberg, I think. Especially if you get roped into like the what is the little doll that you put in you make him do weird stuff.
The elf on the shelf.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be. I would never start some. That's like a trap. You get trapped into it every year, then you like doing it every night. It's like insane.
You can't touch the elf, by the way. I don't know if you knew, Tyler. You're not allowed to touch the elf, or the child cannot touch the elf.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, elf on a shelf is a completely new concept to me. I did not have that when I was a kid.
It's a super good marketing play. If you think of it from a marketing standpoint, I would love to create a doll that had some lore that everybody bought into every single year. It'd be like having a Christmas album, like if the only thing you did was write a Christmas album, whoever does Elf on a Shelf, whoever made that up is making money for the rest of their life.
Christmas music.
I don't think there's any capitalism behind it. I think it's all just goodwill.
No,
that
no,
would be
no,
nice.
no, 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 no.
Nice.
Especially
That would be
Christmas
nice.
albums. Christmas music is the bane of human existence, for one.
Well, I think we need an Everything is Dramatic Christmas album, if I do
Fuck
say so myself.
that. Oh my god.
And now we're
Well-
definitely doing it. But you're going to be like the Scrooge on the album. You're going to be every chorus. You're going to be like doing downtrodden. You're going to be like, silver bells. Silver bells.
Is that Jeff's whole, like, the whole thing is Jeff is trying to get me into the Christmas spirit?
yeah. Throughout the album. And by the last two songs, it crescendos into you just beautiful rendition of what's the one with the sleigh?
Jingle bells?
Santa Claus is coming to town. I don't know. They're all the same.
I mean, that's such a vague question. Which the one with the sleigh? Like 5 of them have a sleigh.
There's a specific one in the sleigh.
Silver bells.
Okay, let me.
Sleigh bells ringling, jing jing jingling.
Jingling. Da 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 da. Sleigh ride. Something like a sleigh. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
I think it's sleigh ride.
That one's a straight banger, dude.
I think the only way like we could really like make it true and authentic to Everything is Traumatic is I learned the joys of Christmas through capitalism and how I need to buy. That's like I get it now. You just buy shit. That's how.
So you make traditions that cost money, and you do them every year.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to either do a Christmas is Traumatic episode, or hell, we just might make this one into that and just release it on Christmas since we're already there.
I mean, we're already talking about
in the Christmas anti-spirit.
Yeah, but you know what goes
anti-Christmas.
You know what goes hand in hand with Christmas is family.
Yeah,
and family is traumatic.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, it was not traumatic to do Christmas because you were on the receiving end of all the work that your parents did to make Christmas happen. As an adult, Christmas is, and I don't have kids, but just Christmas is stressful because it starts with like one gift, and then all of a sudden you have like 14 gifts you've got to give because like somebody gives you a gift at work, and then it's just like, oh, I forgot about my brother-in-law. I forgot about my sister-in-law. My brother has kids, and it's just like you go from let's have a small Christmas to I've got to buy $4,000 worth of gifts just to make these people happy, and then they're not going to even open the gifts. They're just like, oh, great.
I do immediacy. It's like when you have a child, you just do immediacy. Now for Christmas, I only get my girlfriend and my son something for Christmas. Typically, it's a family event. I consolidate it to my family. I'll get Tyler something for his birthday.
I was about to know. You got me.
I'm not gonna get him something.
You got me something.
I'm not gonna get you something. Did I? Well,
you got me something for Christmas last year.
Well, I don't remember what it was.
It's like not this year. We're making cuts.
That means you're cresting into the family portion, Tyler.
That's what I thought.
Tyler is so lovable that it's hard not to give Tyler a gift because Tyler to me, we were talking about Freud earlier, is like an id, but with enough ego to sort of make him not dangerous. He's just lovable. He just sort of goes for what he's into, but he doesn't hurt anybody. And so it's
I would completely agree with that. I think that, and he is the id in the sense that like Tyler very much will speak his mind. That's where me and him very much like work together well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
but he's not dangerous. There's nobody nobody is in harm's way with Tyler.
No.
I'm like the id.
He has safe face. Actually,
I'm like the id, but with the ego, with enough ego.
Yeah,
isn't the id like the super ego?
No. So we'll do a quick thing. So the id is like the I want it now, the pleasure principle.
Right.
The super ego is often mistaken for the conscience, but there really is no conscience according to Freud. It's just social norms. So we follow the social norms of whatever we're taught in our society. So that can be different. Like if you're in a place where it's okay to like eat human flesh. That's part of your social conscience, so it's not wrong. And then the ego is the balancer. So the ego tries to figure out how to give the id what it wants by not breaking those social norms and not getting in trouble. So Tyler, you are that id, like childlike, but your ego is strong enough that you don't harm other people. So I don't know if the superego is involved that much.
Interesting.
I would agree with that.
I'm a
How
child.
about Tyler? For good.
So
Yes, you're a child.
In the best possible way. He's childlike in the best possible way of just, it's like he's just a lot of fun.
I see what you mean. I have a lot of imagination.
Yes.
Not quirky. I don't know. Whimsical.
Some people would say you've got 1 foot over the veil all the time.
What does that mean?
So like when you take psychedelics and you do things, that you find your id really quickly, and that shows like super quick. You kind of are on that level like all the time. You got like 1 foot over the veil, like.
Yeah, you don't have to take drugs to get into that. You're just there.
No, where a lot of people do.
I'm just ready to do the thing that I want to do.
Right.
You're unique and authentic.
Well, thanks, guys. This has been a really big conference.
This has quickly turned into a psychoanalysis of Tyler.
Hey, I'm kind of here for it. I love learning about myself.
Tell us about your dreams.
My dreams. Let's see. I only have like 2 dreams that really like stick out to me that I've remembered like throughout my life. And so the first dream was like this. It looked like a German expressionist film. So it was like black and white, but it looked kind of wild. And my friend was sitting in my parents' room, and he was like, there's a family meeting happening downstairs, but he said it all sinister and like with the gravelly voice. So it was like, they're having a family meeting downstairs. And then I went downstairs, and then like my family are all bats, but they have human heads, and they're laughing at me, and they're like, you fool, you fell for the trap. And so there was that. Anything on that dream?
I think that's gonna take a while to process.
Because the other one is completely like just as wild in a different way.
All right, let's hear it.
So the other dream is like I'm hanging out at my friend's house, and then my old Russian teacher walks in without a shirt on, but he has shorts on. And he's carrying in groceries. And he drops them and he says, Tyler? And I stand up and I'm like, Mr. Frary? And like run up to him and hug him.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's sort of a sweet dream.
Yeah, I think that it's allegorical. I think that the teacher is not the teacher. He represents maybe like your time in high school, or like you know what I'm saying? Like it's like you saying goodbye to your youth, or something weird, some weird allegory is what I got from it.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, but I had this dream when I was like 16. Is that how it works?
Yeah, you probably said goodbye to your youth when you were 10 or 11 or 12 because of the upbringing.
Now the bat dream, I think, makes me think a little bit maybe that Tyler is dangerous. I mean, there's a lot of people that put a lot into dreams. I feel like that there's a couple of different kinds of dreams. There's like anxiety dreams. There's like just dreams that are just there. And then like what you said, a lot of working out, Ken, where he just sort of is saying goodbye. So I feel like that first dream was an anxiety dream, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are typically the dreams that I have.
Yeah. You know, I had my first teeth falling out dream the other day.
Okay.
Oh, weird. I've never had this. What do they say about that?
I thought I looked it up once, and I thought it was something like letting something go.
Teeth falling out is like loss. So like loose teeth is fear of loss, and like losing a tooth is having a loss. I think that that's sort of the common interpretation of that, but it's also an anxiety dream. I mean, losing a tooth, or not wearing any pants to school and being in your underwear,
Or
missing a test date, failing the test,
family turning into vampires. All of these.
Snakes everywhere. Yeah.
Snakes everywhere. Yes. Okay, snakes is always phallic. So,
Yeah.
Oh, so when you dream of snakes, you're dreaming of some hyenas?
Oh, well, what about this? One time I dreamt I was flying in a small vehicle with my mother, and we crashed into a swamp, and there were snakes with wrapping tied around their mouths.
Oh.
wow.
Attacking us while we were swimming through the swamp. What was that about?
I mean, Freud would have a field day with that, because it's got all the elements. It's got the phallic symbols. It's got the mother. It's got with the mother. Yeah, Freud.
Right.
The way Freud would interpret something, the way I would interpret something, would be very different.
Absolutely.
It sounds like just another anxiety dream. It's just like, snakes are phallic, but I don't think they always stand for sex. I mean, it's
right.
Snakes are just horrifying to me, and like being like in a pit of snakes, or snakes bothering me in some way, or I just don't like it.
I'm not super bothered by them.
Okay.
They're not a bother, but in my dreams they are, because they're in so much abundance. Sometimes they're a lot of snakes.
Yeah. I feel like dreams are a way of us dealing with things. I'm not sure how important it is we understand them.
Right.
It's important that we have them, because I think it's just our unconscious.
I would agree with that.
I mean, you can dig into them. So like in therapy, you could dig into that, but I'd be just like, oh, that's cool that you remember your dreams. Like maybe just write them down if you want to, and we can talk about them. But the purpose of them, I think, is you're working through something. And if you remember them, great. If you don't, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but I've always wanted to like write down my dreams and remember them, because sometimes they're just fucking wild.
You need to like keep a journal by your bed, and you have to write them down right when you wake up, or you'll forget them.
Sometimes even just putting that journal next to your bed will make you remember them more. Just like having the thought of like, I'm going to need to remember this to write it down, will make you remember.
Yeah, I mean, we all have. People will say, I don't dream, or whatever. You do dream, you just don't remember. It's like, I don't ever dream. You dream every night, and then there are multiple dreams, and lots of times they go into each other. So you like dream, you wake up, you go back to sleep, and a new dream comes in and it incorporates the old dream, and it's just like, it's probably seconds that your dreams are, and they may seem very long.
Yeah, annihilation for sure. That's why you have those really good naps, like in weird places where you have like super long dreams, but you've only been asleep for a second,
Yeah.
That's what you used to do in school, but you don't really have the opportunity to in regular life anymore. People just think you're on drugs if you're sleeping and sleeping in weird. But I'm just napping here for 1 second. Sorry.
So I had a dream one time that I was walking around the block with my father, and he pulled out a knife and tried to stab me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I have a good relationship with my father. My father is passed away now, but I mean, we had a good relationship, and he was not a violent man. So I think it's just it's like an anxiety thing,
And so,
yeah,
you said there were different types of dreams. So there's anxiety dreams. What other?
I mean, like there's always like fantasy dreams, like where you just something like you're flying, or you're doing something cool, or you're like a rock star or whatever. That I would be just like sort of like a fantasy. I don't know. I bet you there's all kinds of dreams. but mostly they seem to be anxiety dreams.
I was saying that it's probably mirroring the emotions that we have on a day-to-day basis in some aspect. We probably go through those same emotions in throughout our dreams that we do. Anxiety, fear, lust or
yeah.
Yeah.
The base emotions, sort of like the instincts emotions.
Yeah.
I think they're all sort of that anger,
Right.
all those kind of things.
Yeah.
And
right.
It definitely, to me, is delving into your unconscious mind where you're not really aware always what's there, and it sort of digs that stuff up. And that's what Freud really liked about dreams.
Right. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to jump off here. It's been dreamy.
Oh yeah, it's dreamy.
Right. Okay,
well,
Ken.
join us anytime, Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good talking to you guys.
All right. Take it easy.
Later.
You still there, Tyler?
I'm still here. Are you still here?
Yeah, he sort of hijacked it, but in a good way.
No, in a great way, I feel. I mean, it was nice to kind of talk about
family.
dreams. Yeah. But now, I mean, we still have time to talk about family some, but I really like the dream conversation.
Yeah. I mean, we could just sort of go into dreams are traumatic, because they are.
They can be, definitely.
Especially as a kid. I mean, some of the nightmares that I had as a kid were some of the more horrifying things. I remember a lot of, being chased, getting stuck, can't scream, being in like a factory kind of thing where you're just part of a machine and you hear these noises. And I think children's dreams are mostly are probably the most vivid. I remember my dreams are more cloudy now, and sometimes they're pretty intense, but as a kid they were like super intense.
Yeah, because I mean, one of the dreams I also remember having as a kid was, so I was afraid of Chucky from Child's Play.
Yeah.
And looking back, it was silly to be afraid of him, but I was deathly afraid of him. And I had a dream where it's like I'm watching these monitors that are security cameras in my house, and I'm just watching him pick off my family one by one, and it was terrible.
You remember how old you were?
I was like 7, 8. Yeah, I'd say somewhere around there.
So you're a little younger than me, so Chucky is a very appropriate dream. Michael Myers was a very horrifying figure, and I don't remember if I dreamed about him specifically, but the whole concept of being stabbed with a knife, somebody faceless, nameless after you. And then the whole Freddy Krueger movies are basically just horror dreams, all the dream possible things that you could have, and then the dream logic and all the stuff you could do and not do in your dreams. It's pretty right on with the way dreams work.
Yeah, no, definitely. And there are also PSAs for not having sex before marriage.
Yes, that is something we should definitely talk about, because nothing good can come from sex before marriage.
Nothing good comes before marriage.
Yeah, I don't know if that's on purpose, like to talk about just puritanical values that usually people are killed when they're having sex or before sex or right after sex.
Yeah, if they go and sneak off.
It's woven through our horror movies.
It's because these monsters have morals, Jeff.
They're all Christians, obviously.
The real slasher is STDs.
Oh, yeah. STDs are no laughing matter, man.
They're not. They are not.
Although most of them can be cured with a good dose of penicillin.
This is also true. But horror movie land, maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the horror movie we need to make. It's Clearly, in these horror slasher movies, there is no penicillin.
There's a movie called It Follows, which is sort of a I don't know, a recreation or a deconstruction of the horror trope where basically there's something following you to kill you,
Mm.
and it kills you unless you pass it on by having sex with somebody else. So it's going to come get you unless you pass it to the next person by sleeping with them, and then it's
Oh.
after them. It's a pretty good movie
Mm.
and a very untraditional horror film.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check that
But I
out.
think it's sort of that existential dread that we all have about why we shouldn't have sex,
Mm-hmm.
even though there's not really that many good reasons.
Like, there's not any good reasons to have sex.
No. We're told that we're not supposed to have sex before marriage.
Mm.
We're not supposed to have sex when we're a certain age. We're told that sex is only for reproduction.
Mm.
We're sent a lot of things, and then they're really based on they're not based on reality. They're based more on religious kind of tropes.
Yes.
But there's a lot of shame and guilt that people get from whatever system, religious systems and non-religious systems, that people carry on with them, and then people struggle with sexuality,
Mm-hmm.
or they're not able to enjoy sexuality because they have so many just deep set guilt and shame things.
Mm-hmm.
So it haunts them their entire lives.
Yeah, and like I think it's because sex is such a taboo thing for people to talk about, and when I mean talk about it, I mean acknowledge the full sexual spectrum.
Yeah.
Pedophiles not included.
And I mean, just talking about your own sexual needs and thoughts, there's a lot of shame of like, what if I say I like this and they think I'm a freak?
Mm.
It's a lot of, we're not, because sex is sort of, the pleasure is taken away by this whole idea. Oh, it's for reproduction, it's for this, it's for that.
Mm-hmm.
You feel guilt and shame. And so it's just like, oh, I don't want to say I want this because then they may not love me or think I'm crazy. And so I
Mm-hmm.
just won't even ask for what I need.
Yeah.
And the other person might be like, hey, I'm into that, or I'm not into that, but I'm not anti that. So we can,
Yeah.
and then people don't talk.
It's because like sex is such a icky. It's a icky thing. It is an icky thing.
It's very icky.
It's very icky, and like, man, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you that I don't cringe about like furries and stuff, but like that's not inherently a sexual thing either, but it can be.
Right.
It's on the spectrum of kinks.
Being blunt, I feel like it's interesting that our reproductive and our excretory features are so connected.
Mm.
It's just like all in the same area. We're like, everything that is sexual also has to do with the way we expel poisons from our body.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also the way we reproduce. And so it's just like sort of, I guess, the economy of, let's use things for a lot of different things. So you can use it for sex, use it for reproduction, you can use it for excretory features. So it's just like, and then there's all that connection of what's yucky and gross and blah, blah, blah. And so it's also like the whole thing about our bodies are gross and we stink and we have to use certain things to keep us from stinking. And it's just like all this stuff. It sort of goes back to capitalism, right?
Yeah.
We have to sell products to keep our stuff from stinking.
Well, we just gotta utilize our genitalia and put that shit on the free market.
And then it's like, not until recently have there been products for men. Like, oh, your balls stink, so you need to use this.
Do you got stinky balls?
Yeah. For women, be like, oh, you smell, so you need to use this special kind of stuff. And it's just like, it's just sort of this, it's the patriarchy.
It is.
It's the patriarchy, man.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Like, I think we're coming around to like that second second or third. I don't know. Like the thought of like, you know, pleasure should or sex should be pleasurable for both parties. And so
Yes,
I
definitely.
think women are speaking up more about what they fucking want, you know, and I think it's a great
Yeah.
thing. I think it's very empowering that they're now like not settling for, you know, whatever the fuck they want to settle for. They actually like set a standard for themselves, and I think that's great. So we all kind of like need a standard for ourselves of what we like, what we want, and to pursue that, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with just following your bliss in that manner.
There's nothing wrong with pleasure. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with enjoying that. And I'm a hetero cis male,
Mm-hmm.
but women
Same.
don't stink. They
No.
don't stink. I mean,
I don't think
there
they
are
do.
things. I mean, if I go if I go and like work out and I'm sweaty, I might smell like sweat. But
Mm-hmm.
there are women's body parts don't stink any more than men's body parts stink. You know, it's like not like you have to do some special thing. I mean, it's probably good to be clean when you're messing around, but not always. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this might be too much information, but it's just like, you know, it's just bodies, right?
Yeah,
We all do the stuff.
sure. I'm also amazed that there are women out there that eat men's ass.
You know, that is something that was not really on the menu when I was growing up, but it seems to be that ass eating seems to
Oh
be
yeah.
something that is happening a
I
lot.
mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I haven't partaked.
I mean, when you go to the ass eating, there probably is a need for more cleanliness just
Sure.
because of bacteria.
Yeah.
Like normal like oral sex, you want cleanliness, but we're not talking about, you know, bacteria that you have on your anus. You know, there is,
Mm.
you know, it's just this is probably going to all be edited out and like sanitized with
You
lots
think?
of bleeps. Bleep, 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 bleep.
I don't think there'll be
But
any
yeah, so
bleeps,
like,
man. I mean, we could put a
like
disclaimer that this one is. I don't know. I always thought
how
this
did we
was.
go from we were starting with family, we went to Christmas, and now we're at ass eating. I
Oh,
don't know how we
Freud
got
would
there.
be
But we're
proud.
there.
He would have a field day with this episode.
I feel like I mean, but yeah, so like, yeah, you gotta be clean. You gotta like just take a shower, you know.
You kind of can
But
apply. You can apply that to everything we talked about too. Like as far as Christmas goes, just take a shower.
take a shower. You can go and when you're at Christmas, go turn the water on. You can just use cold water. You can scream all the things you want to scream to your family
Hmm.
in the shower, or you can silently scream it.
And
But yeah,
then
if you take a shower, it's going to reduce your anxiety. It's
and
also going to clean you up in case there's going to be ass eating later after the turkey.
after after the turkey and into the butt.
Hey, so I learned a couple of words, and you may know them.
Mm.
Again, I'm older. So have you heard of a situationship?
Yes,
Okay,
I
so
was
that was
in
a
one of
new word
those.
I learned. And I think it means, you correct me, I think it's basically basically a friends with benefits, but it's like a period of time. Like we're going to be friends with benefits for a month. It's a situationship. We're just together. We have the space, whatever. Is that sort of what a situationship is?
I think for me, like when I experienced a situationship, it was always like I think it's a little more than friends with benefits because there are feelings there, but I think because either one or both parties are a little more what's the what's the attachment style I'm thinking of? There's anxious, there's avoidant, because one or both parties are a little more avoidant emotionally. It doesn't necessarily become a relationship.
Gotcha. Okay.
It becomes this weird cycle of like where we're hanging out and hooking up, and it doesn't it's not gonna take the next step from there unless, you know, a conversation is had.
And to me, that's totally okay. If both people are getting what they need,
Hmm.
if they're honestly getting what they need, I think that's great.
Hmm.
You know, not everything has to be a long-term relationship, and that's the other fallacy of everything has to be a long-term relationship. So the other word or the other phrase I learned was sneaky links.
Sneaky links, yes.
So it's like a hookup, but you don't like tell anybody else about it. So it's like a secret.
Yeah. You typically do.
So I didn't know either one of those words.
You would. Oh shit! The cat ran by. Yeah, sneaky link. That's usually something either done like if you're already in a relationship and you're fucking someone else.
Gotcha.
Or
okay, sneaky link.
Or if like you said, like you hook up with someone, but you don't necessarily like brag about it. It's not like necessarily like known.
Right.
Oh man, he's losing it.
I feel like sexuality, as long as people are aware of what's happening and you're honest with people, sexuality is okay. You're not hurting anybody as long as both people are on board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the end of the day, consent and communication are your main tools for any sort of intimate relationship.
Yes, exactly.
I wouldn't trust.
And if both people are communicating and consenting, I think that's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's healthy. It's happy. Sex is important. It's a stress reliever. It feels good. It's a way to build intimacy if that's what you want it for.
Mm-hmm.
So we just need to, and that doesn't mean like there's nothing wrong with having multiple, like lots of partners in your life. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with anything inherently. But there's also nothing wrong with not being sexually active. If you choose to be, I don't want to be involved right now. That's fine too. That's not unhealthy. I mean, basically it's, are you getting your needs met? Is your partner getting their needs met?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's all good.
Then it's all gravy, baby. Well, for the most part.
But I mean, if we could get to that in our society of like, just leave people alone, as long as there's consenting people, just leave them alone. We don't need to worry about that. We don't need to judge that. It's okay.
Now, Jeff, I think I know how to like bring everything together, make it all all like well-rounded. Are you ready?
All right.
Nocturnal emissions.
It connects everything,
it connects
right?
Dreams to sex to Freud to families.
I don't think I had a lot of those.
I think I've only had the one.
You just had one of them?
I think I just had one of them, and it was weird. Yeah, it's very weird waking up and there's jizz in your pants.
That could be a talk show all its own.
Welcome to Nocturnal Emissions.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, because we're going back to sexuality, there's a whole thing about don't masturbate that, right? Masturbation is wrong.
Yeah.
It's just like your body you're gonna ejaculate one way or another if you're a male, and so your body's gonna do it, or you're gonna do it yourself, or you're gonna do it with somebody else.
No,
it's gonna happen, and so to me, it's almost like God saying, "See, this is okay. I'm gonna give you a little hint. Yeah. You can mess with this, you know."
It's your body going all mobster on you, like, you haven't played with us in a while. It'd be a real shame if you woke up with a.
We got a lot. We're pretty full up. We need to release a little bit of this stuff. We're gonna explode.
Yeah, it's like the valves can't handle this kind of pressure. It's gotta.
And I know we have listeners that are going to be different religious persuasions or no religious persuasions. If you are of a faith, and I probably am sort of in between Christianity and agnosticism, but I believe that God is just not obsessed with sex. God would be, if there is a Christian God would be concerned with consent and harming others, but they would not be concerned with sex. I don't think it's that big a deal to a heavenly being. And so I think that one of the things a lot of people that grown up in the church have to do is move past some of that guilt and shame, even if they're in a committed relationship, even if they're in a married relationship, which would be considered okay, there's still guilt and shame in there. And that's where the therapeutic process comes in of like, it's okay to enjoy sex just for sex sake. It doesn't always have to be for reproduction. It doesn't always have to be romantic and like all this stuff. It can be whatever you need it to be. It's all about, what did you say? Consent and communication.
Consent, communication, trust. I would throw trust out there.
Yeah.
And I mean,
So,
I guess just along with your thought, like I am an atheist, but I don't want to like look down on other people who have faith, because I think if faith works for you, it works for you, and that's great. If it keeps you from being a shitty person, that's fine. Whatever keeps you from not being shitty.
Yeah. If we could replace don't have sex or sex is bad with consent and communication, I think that's a very Christian idea of, you're talking, people are equally involved. And so get the focus off of don't do this because it's bad, to let's talk about it. Let's make sure everybody's on board. That would be, in my mind, a much more Christian idea than just don't do something because it's bad.
Don't do it.
Because that doesn't make any sense.
But I think this has reached its logical conclusion, Jeff.
I agree.
I
definitely agree.
Any final thoughts on the episode today?
Consent and communication
is traumatic.
It's about communication, really, in life, and with yourself, with your partners, with your friends. The more we communicate realistically and be real, the healthier we are.
Nice. I think that's a good final thought. I'm going to keep my final thought very simple. I think Freud is going to have a field day with this episode.
Yeah, we're both in trouble.
We're in trouble. Sorry, Mr. Freud. And this is all of us here at Everything is Traumatic. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Jeff.
And as always, take care of yourself and play us out.